I kill whoever I please. It's none of your business. If you insist on making it difficult, I'll kill you too. Ray threatened loudly. Kill me. You're not good enough yet, Dustin said with a grim expression. And don't say I didn't warn you. If you act foolishly, I will beat you to death. I mean it. Beat me to death. Ray was stunned at first to hear that. He then started laughing as if he had heard the funniest joke. The onlookers looked on with ridicule in their eyes. They looked at him as if he was an idiot. Is that guy crazy? How dare he talk to Ray like that? Is he not afraid of dying? Sue was shocked. HMPH, you fool. You challenged Ray Oakley. You must be courting death. Lou smirked. Who was Ray Reeds? He was an elite Celestial Alliance fighter, and Sir Reeds' favorite. For someone as good as him, it'd be easy for him to crush a newcomer. Ray could take on 100 opponents alone, and still keep the situation under control. Who could stop someone like him? Dustin is such an idiot. Instead of running away, he's decided to court death. Rosalind shook her head as she looked on with no emotion. Humph, he's arrogant just because he knows some moves. If you asked me, I think he'd be better off dead, Florence said smugly, crossing her arms. That young man has no idea who he's up against. He'll find out when he's a cripple later, Victoria taunted. Everyone saw what happened when Ray was fighting with all his might earlier. Dustin must be courting death right now if he continued to challenge him. Ray, he just dissed you. Kill him now. Hiding behind the crowd, Vlad Grant shouted with a deadly gaze. He was still coughing up blood after suffering a kick from Dustin. As such, he was feeling vengeful. Hey, you! Do you know what you just said? Ray's expression suddenly turned cold after he stopped laughing. I'm Celestial Alliance's best fighter. The sky's my limit. Even that old man couldn't defeat me. Who do you think you are? I'm a nobody. But it's easy for me to kill you, Dustin replied calmly. Kill me. Ray laughed. You're not afraid of dying, are you? He narrowed his eyes. If you don't believe me, feel free to give it a try. Dustin beckoned him forward. All right, if you really want to die, I'll gladly help you out. Ray was a little annoyed. He jumped and charged toward Dustin like a roaring lion. He opened up his fists to their limits and slammed them down on Dustin's chest like to sledgehammers. The punch was so forceful that it tore through the air and created waves of sonic boom. It was strong enough to crush a small car. HMPH, I don't think he can survive that. Vlad smirked as he looked on with a bloodthirsty gaze. He used his killer tactic right away. I think Ray was furious. That guy is dead for sure. Lou and Sue sneered. Serves you right. That's for being cocky. Florence and the people around her looked on coldly, their gazes mocking.
Trapped in between two fists with the force of sledgehammers, Dustin showed no fear. Instead of moving away, he stepped forward quickly and successfully avoided the punch. He suddenly lifted his knee and drove it straight into Ray's torso. UFFF. Before he could defend himself, Ray was forced to bend forward, his face flushed. He was thrown into the air and lost his balance. After the first kick, Reese lifted his leg above his head and swung it down like an axe on Ray's shoulder. Ray, suspended in midair, was abruptly slammed down to the ground. He landed so hard on his knees that the ground cracked. His knees were bloodied and broken. He was crippled. Before Ray could continue speaking, he spat blood. He was completely drained and severely injured. Everyone was at a loss for words at the sight. It all happened too quickly, just like lightning. Before they could understand what was going on, Ray was already kneeling on the ground, defeated. It startled them. What happened? Ray lost? Vlad widened his eyes in disbelief. He understood Ray's capability very well. He was Celestial Alliance's elite fighter and Ronald Reeds' nephew. He had always ranked top among the younger generation in terms of potential and skills. Under normal circumstances, Ray should have finished Dustin off easily. How could he have been defeated? Damn, is that little boy toy that amazing? Even Ray Reeds lost to him? Lou was shocked. Am I seeing things? Ray's from the Celestial Alliance? I can't believe he lost to a nobody. Sue was a little confused. What a loser. He looks strong, but I didn't know he's actually this weak. Florence frowned and appeared upset. Do you think Dustin used any tricks on him? Rosalind and Victoria looked at each other with a suspicious gaze. Ray was invincible just a few moments ago. They assumed that Dustin would lose for sure. No one had expected this ending. Was Dustin really that good? Or was Ray just all show and no substance? So, what's it going to be? Are you willing to admit defeat or not? With one foot on Ray's shoulder, Dustin asked arrogantly, Who are you really? Ray gritted his teeth and struggled to get up. As he tried, he realized that Dustin's leg was as heavy as lead. He was pinned to the ground on his knees. No matter how much he struggled, you don't need to know who I am. I just want to know if you are willing to admit defeat. Dustin applied pressure slowly on the foot that was on Ray's shoulder. The ground below Ray's knees could be heard cracking into smaller pieces. His bloodied knees worsened considerably. I'll never admit defeat, Ray shouted. Do you know who I am, kid? If you hurt me, I'll make sure that nowhere is safe for you. Oh, really? Dustin sneered and suddenly applied more pressure on his foot. Ray sank deeper into the ground. He couldn't even lift his head. He sweated profusely and found it hard to breathe as he started coughing up blood.
Stop, Lou suddenly shouted. Hey, you! I'm warning you. Let Ray go, or you'll be in deep trouble. That's right. Ray is part of the Celestial Alliance. If you dare to act foolishly, you'll definitely be Celestial Alliance's enemy. Sue yelled. Celestial Alliance? Dustin raised his eyebrows slightly upon hearing that and relaxed his foot a little. At that very moment, Ray felt like he had been saved as he breathed heavily. Humph, I see that you finally know your place. Lou sighed in relief when he thought that Dustin was afraid of the Celestial Alliance. Ray, who was kneeling on the floor, suddenly started smirking. Hey, kid, aren't you a hero? Aren't you very arrogant? Why did you hesitate when you heard Celestial Alliance's name? As he spoke, he stood up with wobbly knees. He then started jabbing Dustin's chest with his finger. Come on, didn't you want to fight me? Why don't you try again? I'll let you go first if you dare. You should be thankful that I let you live. Don't even try to challenge me, Dustin warned him coldly. The Celestial Alliance might be mighty, but he didn't have to fear it. So what if I enjoy challenging you? I don't think you'd want the Celestial Alliance as your enemy. Ray continued jabbing Dustin's chest with his finger. He berated, Let me tell you, I'm from the Celestial Alliance. I'm also the nephew of Ronald Reeds, the leader of the Martial World. I have the power, the status, the background, and the support. You'll never defeat me. Listen to me now. You'd better break both your arms and get on all fours to apologize to me. If not, I'll kill you, your family, your friends, and your woman. I'll bury all of them with you. Did you hear him? Get on your knees and apologize. Vlad yelled. HMPH. So what if he's a good fighter? He doesn't have any support or power. In the end, he'd still be bullied. That's true. With the support of Sir Reeds and Celestial Alliance, this guy wouldn't dare do anything else even if he is very courageous. If he doesn't get on his knees, he'd die. If he does, he might survive. Let's see what he'll choose. The crowd whispered to each other as they looked at Dustin with a mocking gaze. It didn't matter how skilled a person was. He'd just be a martial artist. In front of people with power and money, they'd still have to give in to them. This was the reality, a gap that couldn't be filled. A nobody should know where they stood. What did you say earlier? You're Ronald Reed's nephew. Dustin's expression slowly darkened. That's right. Ronald Reed is my uncle. How's that? Are you scared now? If you are, get on all fours now. Before Ray could finish, Dustin suddenly grabbed his neck and lifted him off the floor. He said coldly, Since you're related to Ronald Reed, you die today. As soon as he finished the sentence, Dustin snapped Ray's neck. Ray's eyes widened in disbelief. He'd never thought that Dustin would actually kill him. If he had known it earlier, he wouldn't have been this arrogant. However, he regretted it too late. As life seeped out of him, his pupils dilated slowly, and his consciousness gradually faded. Dustin lifted his hand and threw Ray's corpse away like a rag doll. Ray's corpse fell to the floor after hitting the wall heavily and kicking up a large dust cloud. Everyone at the scene was dead silent. They were stunned, and their eyes widened in disbelief. Nobody thought that Dustin would actually dare to kill Ray after he had announced his identity. It was known that Ray was part of the Celestial Alliance and the nephew of Ronald Reeds. Where did this guy find the guts to do it? Dead. That guy actually killed Ray Reeds. Vlad was shocked and found it hard to believe. Vlad and Ray shared similar social status, and Ray could have had a better future than him. This nameless guy had the guts to kill Ray Reeds. Was he not afraid of death? This is crazy. That kid is completely crazy. He dared to kill Ray Reeds. The audacity. This guy managed to upset the Celestial Alliance and Sir Reeds all at once. From now on, he'll have to be constantly on the run wherever he is. After a short moment of silence, the crowd suddenly erupted noisily. Everyone looked at Dustin as if he had gone crazy. If he wasn't crazy, why would he kill Ray in public? Why would he upset the Celestial Alliance and Ronald Reeds? Dustin Reese might have acted too rashly. He wasted no time in killing him. Rosalind was very shocked. This guy is crazy. It's a good thing that he doesn't get to live very long. He'll be in big trouble very soon. Florence smirked. She didn't care about the death of Ray Reeds, however. By killing Ray, Dustin was digging his own grave. She couldn't wait to see what would happen. She hated Dustin mainly because she didn't like him being around her daughter. With her daughter's current social status, she could potentially marry into royalty. At the very least, she'd marry a high-ranking official or noble, but never a martial artist. She was afraid that her daughter's memory would recover, and she would do the silly things she did before. As such, Dustin's death would be the best outcome for her. What's that guy doing? Dahlia frowned, and she felt a little irritated. Instead of being upset about Ray's death, she was upset that Dustin had killed someone and got himself into trouble. He knew that Ray was no ordinary person, and he still did as he pleased. Wasn't that just reckless? He brought it upon himself. Cornelius shook his head. It would have been better if Ronald Reeds wasn't mentioned. It was as if someone poured petrol on fire when his name was mentioned. Ray would have only suffered some physical pain if he wasn't so arrogant. He died because he did the exact opposite. Shut Aroma down. Throw everyone related to the Grant family out. Kill those who resist. Dustin ordered coldly, and he looked ready to kill. Ronald was a traitor, and he killed Paul Hill. He betrayed and assassinated Michael Robinson. He even stole the Celestial Pearl and drove Abigail Robinson off the edge. He had done many hateful and despicable things, enough to anger those who knew about it. Dustin found Ray's arrogance difficult to stomach. As such, he decided to kill him as revenge. Did you hear, Sir Reese? Maim and throw them out. Cornelius shouted, cripple them. Kieran Gang wasted no time and sprang right into action as they cleaned up the mess. Without Ray as their leader, the Grant family fighters were nothing against the Kieran Gang. They were all defeated quickly. Bastard! You're dead meat. You killed Ray Reeds, and now you attack the Grant family. From now on, you're the public enemy of two families. There will be no safe place for you in Balerno. Vlad shrieked with a horrified look. He was obviously a little flustered. Dustin glanced over and looked at Vlad as he walked slowly to him. I almost forgot about you. What did you say earlier? Don't come near me. Vlad panicked when he saw Dustin approaching. He yelled out meekly, let me warn you, my brother is General Lionheart, Tyler Grant. I have the backing of the whole Grant family. If you touch me, death will be your only way out. Is that so? Dustin snorted coldly as he suddenly reached out and held Vlad's head before forcefully smashing it against the wall. He hit the wall so hard that it left a small dent. Vlad's mind went blank, and he was dizzy as blood trickled down the back of his head. I won't kill you today. Go back and tell your brother, Tyler Grant, that he should stop playing tricks. If he insists on targeting the Hammond family, I will destroy the Grant family. Now, get lost. Dustin lifted his hand, which was holding Vlad's head, and flung him out. Vlad flew out like a ball and landed a few yards away outside Aroma. He crashed through a window before landing with a loud thud, and he howled in pain. Lou and Sue were shocked to see what happened. They didn't dare word and left Aroma hastily. Say another. Quick, we need to send Vlad to the hospital quickly. Lou and Sue didn't forget Vlad, who was seriously injured when they left. They immediately helped Vlad into the car and went straight to the hospital. Dustin Reese, do you know you're in deep trouble? Dahlia suddenly spoke. She added, you killed Ray Reeds and upset the Martial Arts Alliance. You also challenged the Grant family. Are you really not afraid of death? The feud already started the moment both parties got into a disagreement. Even if I didn't kill Ray Reeds or teach Vlad Grant a lesson, they'd still come for me, Dustin explained calmly.